Okay, so you have just finished writing your judgment, and so now I'm going to judge this artwork, and hopefully your judgment will sound like my judgment, and you've talked about the same things that I'm about to talk about. All right, this is a good work of art, and the reason why it's a good work of art is that the artist is really good at depicting reality. She looks realistic, the grass looks realistic, the houses look realistic, and so therefore it takes a lot of skill to make art that is this realistic, especially with using tempera paint. Uh, uh, so that is the reason why I say that this is a good work of art. The second reason why this is a good work of art is because it is well composed. When I talked about the texture in here, and I talked about the emphasis, and I talked about shapes, all those the artist knew what he was doing when he composed this. Not only did he know how to make things look realistic, but he knew where to place them to make an interesting work of art, to make it visually interesting. The third reason why I say this is a good work of art is because it evokes an emotion. This thing is just loaded with a gloomy, dark, depressing emotion. And and it makes you think. I think about the things. Why is she in this predicament that she is? All of those things together make this a good work of art. Now, the second question is, do you like it? And a lot of my students will agree that it's a good work of art, but they'll also say that they don't like it. It's too gloomy. They want something a little bit happier. I particularly, my own opinion is that I like it. I wouldn't hang it in my house, but it's interesting to look at. It's an interesting story, and That's what makes me like this artwork. And basically, that's it. Because I think, let's see, let's go back. Let's see, finally, judgment. Oh yeah, when you judge, make sure you talk about all the things that or that you bring up or that you base your judgment off of what you described, what you analyzed, and what you interpreted. And I think I've done that already. Let's see, is the painter good? Is that we did this? All right, so I think we covered everything that we need to for the judgment. So often somebody will look at an artwork and do the judgment first. Oh, that sucks. Or oh, how cool. So in the future, when you are looking at a work of art, please reserve your judgment for the last. Think about it first. Consider the uh, the analysis. Consider how the artist composed it. Consider the mood or the idea behind it before you come up with your judgment. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about like the history behind this painting. The artist's name is Andrew Wyeth. Andrew Wyeth painted this, the Christina's World. His father was N.C. Wyeth, who was another artist, and he mostly did like book covers and posters. So, but this is one of N.C. Wyeth's paintings, as this one is, and this is an N.C. Wyeth painting. And these kind of like look like they would be book covers. For example, on this one right here, I could easily see a book title in this empty space up above. All right, this is a photograph of this is Andrew Wyeth right here, and this is Christina. This photograph was taken many years later. I looked, excuse me, I looked all over the internet to find pictures of Christina, and this was one of the only ones that I could find. And this is was taken many years after the painting was taken. This painting was painted in 1948, and this photograph was taken many years after that. Her actual name is Anna Christina Olson. She was the subject of the painting we just studied. She was a friend of the Wyeth family, and she was disabled from polio. So that's why she was in the position that she was. You may have guessed that. A lot of my students guessed that before I tell them about who Christina was. Wyeth was inspired to create a painting when he saw her crawling across a field gathering vegetables while he was watching from a window in the house. He had a summer home in the area and was on friendly terms with Olson. Uh, by the way, I just want to reemphasize that she was much younger when the painting was painted than when this photograph was taken. The memory of what Wyeth saw haunted him, and he felt he had to paint it. He worked on the painting for weeks. He was afraid to ask Christina to pose, so his wife posed instead to help him get the position right. As it turned out, Christina knew about the painting and did not mind. This is the house that is at the top of the hill. Um, the house is now, it's called the Olson House, and it's now a national landmark. And it has been preserved and painted to look exactly like it does in the painting. So it's painted now to look old, but it's been restored, and you can actually go and visit it. It's a national landmark. Oh, and it's way up here in Maine. So we're down here in Texas, and I don't know if you know where Maine is, but that's where this house is. This is what the painting looks like, and you can see the size of it. So the relative size of the painting. It's located in MoMA. MoMA stands for the Museum of Modern Art, and they paid $1,800 for this painting back in 1948. So if you want to go and visit the museum, it's at the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, which is in New York City. Now, this painting has now become an iconic American art. So I'm going to show you a couple of other iconic American paintings. Like this one, this is called Nighthawks. You've probably seen this one before. This is American Gothic. Here's another iconic American painting. So this painting is among those that are the most famous for American paintings, especially in the 20th century, like a realistic 20th century art. So that makes this painting very valuable, and it's worth now a lot more than $1,800. This painting is worth in the millions because people, it's a famous painting, everybody knows it, and people will want to go see it when they are in New York City.